And in a lot of these films, there's like a complete absence of any black and brown faces, which I think is extremely, extremely disrespectful. Welcome to Agents of Screen, the first and only place to come to for movie reviews live at the cinema. We've just come straight from the cinema from seeing the Sam Mendes directed 1917 movie. I'm your boy Miles and I'm joined by Aaron,
aka Double A.
Okay, what does the double A stand for?
My initials.
Well, is your middle name A as well?
Nah, I mean like A.
Oh, okay, fair enough. The premise for this film is very, very simple. Just got two soldiers that need to take some intel that there's going to be an impending ambush from the Germans. Yeah, so they're going to take that information from one camp to the next. So that being said, first impressions, how are you feeling about this film?
My first impression of the film, very good. I was drawn and interested to watching this because I'm not a massive fan of war movies, but I was drawn to it because of the talk around it being, the whole film being one continuous shot.
Yeah.
Very interested to see how that was possible. That was a big selling point for me because I was just thinking, there's no way that could be done. But it was. And it was done very, very well, I thought.
For me, my first impression is if you are one, a war film buff, and two, things like cinematography excite you, then there's plenty to see in this movie. It creates a very unique experience, I would say. So if you're one of those two things, I think you would enjoy it very much. Aside from that, may not as much, but we'll get into why later on in our likes and dislikes, but that's my first impression. Okay. That being said, what did you like about the film? We spoke about the one shot.
Yeah.
The one continuous shot.
The one continuous
for a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
That was really, well, like you said, that's what really intrigued me. How are they going to do it? Obviously, we know practically that's not possible.
Yeah.
You can't shoot a 2-hour continuously. Maybe one day, but not now. So they're going to have to hide it in like very clever spots, or when you go around the rock might be digitally edited, so when you can do that.
Yeah.
But how did you feel?
Yeah.
What did you
pretty much what you said. And I think if you've got a keen eye for that kind of thing, you can spot in certain places where that was used. But again, I don't think there has ever been a film that has done this throughout the whole movie. Obviously there's been scenes, but to do it throughout the whole film, it creates a very different kind of feeling. A good feeling. I did like that it was shot that way. Yeah. The cinematography, some of the shots.
There was one shot actually where they were walking on the side of like some crater, and there was like water in the middle, and the shot went across the water. I was thinking, how did they do that, bro? How did they do that? Throughout
the whole film, I was thinking, there needs to be, on the DVD Blu-ray release, there needs to be like a behind the scenes of how, because I said the shots were just amazing. And it's, as you said about, if you're into war movies or a veteran, it was very, very gritty, I thought. Understandably, the realism. And some of the things that they're going for in it, you see, and obviously because of the way it was presented, it was kind of like, wow, I'm glad I never had to
I was thinking that
had to do that and go through that, because it's just so bleak. But understandably so. But the way it was shot, it kind of made you feel that even more. It was tense moments as well.
And it just puts in perspective like everything, like something as simple as getting information from one person to another. Yeah, you have to go through some madness to try and do it, as opposed to now, obviously everything is just instant.
And I think that it plays on the whole it being one continuous shot. You don't appreciate the effort that goes into it when, in 99% of all other films, if they say, oh, we're going to go here, we're going to do this, that's just cool. They're at the scene.
They arrive and say, I got a message from Lieutenant
Dan. They might be sweating or whatever, because, before the scene before they're saying, you've got to do it in this amount of time, but seeing it.
One thing that I liked, or two things, I thought the score was very good.
Yes.
I thought the score was extremely well done. And also, the second thing that I like is kind of a like and a dislike. I think in war movies, there's like an absence of like black and brown faces. Yeah, which is ridiculous, because like there were a lot of Indian soldiers that fought in both World Wars, and a lot of black soldiers that fought in World War I and World War II. And in a lot of these films, there's like a complete absence of any black and brown faces, which I think is extremely, extremely disrespectful, because it's not like we're asking for them to be like the main characters.
Exactly.
We just need them to be represented, because these are historically factual events. Yeah. So just for the the point of being realism, we talked about that earlier, just to be them, for them to be present. If they're not present, it's kind of like fantastical.
Yeah.
It's like you're not portraying an accurate representation of what actually happened. And obviously it goes deeper than that, like the black and brown soldiers that lost their lives, some of them are at unmarked graves solely because they're black and brown. So they're represented in this movie. A couple faces. You see, like
literally a couple. There was
two. There was maybe three. So they were represented in this film, which is a plus. However, it is still a dislike because they're not represented as much as they should be. So I know at the same time, this story is a story from the perspective of largely two characters.
Yeah.
So it's a very like
honed in on the specific
events
of what happens.
Exactly. So I can understand that to an extent. It was not like a wide picture of the war. However, it would have been nice, not only in this movie, but war movies in general and moving forward in the past, whatever, that the representation is shown.
Also, another thing I really liked about the film was the cameos. I say cameos, but the actors that were in it, I'm not going to spoil, but even the way they were introduced, there was not a mystery, but it was kind of like a slow reveal for everyone else. And I think the first one that I didn't know about was when I could tell his voice. He's got a very distinct voice.
You'll see his foot in it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, they were in that. And then again, they go to someone else, and like, oh, okay. It was kind of always like a corporal or sergeant, and they introduced them, and they normally have their back to the camera before the reveal. But a very, very good cast. Very good cast, I thought, as well. And
going back to like the cinematography, I think the way the movie was directed by Sam Mendes was great. I think they really captured, I don't know if it was a combination of the score, the cinematography, everything, but I feel like they really captured the intensity. Yeah. So you really feel like at any moment, like someone could get killed or someone could snipe them, or there's danger just like literally around the corner. Yeah. Even the first like jump that happened, it really got me. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was like the sound and just like how it was shot, claustrophobia, all of that. So it captured the intensity.
Yeah, it definitely did. Again, going on about the way the film was shot, even that scene, it just made that whole part completely unique because of the way it was shot, and it felt. I felt tense in kind of all the parts where it should be. I felt like I was almost there because it was so real.
Okay, so let's get into our dislikes. We have to give both sides of the coin. I'll kick it off if that's cool. Apart from what I've already said about like the lack of representation of black and brown faces in war films and in this one in general, I felt like there was like a sprinkling of it just to say that we did it. But it's a start, so it's something, I suppose. Yeah. Apart from that, I think, and I'm not quite sure what the reason for this is, but I didn't care as much for certain characters, so I felt like there was like a lack of character development, and as a result, I wasn't invested in the main characters as much as they probably would have wanted me to. Another thing that I didn't really like, for a war film, there was a lack of a lot of action scenes. I felt like there could have been more. Yeah. It was more about the journey as opposed to like the action. I understand why. So it was more like, see, like Lord of the Rings, it's a very simple premise. Like you have to get this ring, take this ring to Mordor in the volcano, drop it in there. But obviously a lot happens from the Shire to Mordor. So this is like, you have to deliver something from point A to point B. It's more about the journey as opposed to like what happens. That being said though, in Lord of the Rings, there was a hell of a lot of action.
One of my dislikes, more of a nitpick, is because the film is focusing on a certain group of people, and because of the way the film is shot, once they go somewhere, that's it, you're kind of stuck with them. And I guess that's kind of one of the downsides of shooting it in one continuous shot, is you can't break away from them and go and see what in on someone else and find out about other people that you've met, unless they somehow run and catch up to you. It kind of makes the film a bit lonely because you're stuck with the group. Unless they meet other people, you won't get a chance for them to interact with other people. And
I suppose, to play devil's advocate, I suppose you could say, and I don't know what the director's intention was, but you could say that they've done it that way to kind of give you the experience of war. Say for example, if one of us were in war, you're like, you don't know what's going on in the next battalion. You're just here, you're focused on whatever your mission is. You have no idea what's going on, just like the immediate grief, conflict, whatever you want to call it. It's solely and we have no idea what's happening on the outside, I suppose. And you know, usually in other war films they give you like a more grander scale of everything that's happened, so they maybe wanted to like kind of just zone in on these few characters. Potentially. After a discussion for 1917, we're going to get into our scores out of 10. Aaron, you first?
Me first, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I can't praise enough how great the film looks.
A gorgeous film.
Amazing cinematography. There's a part in the trailer you see, you know, he's kind of running. Just that scene, the way that was done, explosions going off. Just really, really amazing film to just look at. A couple nitpicks here and there, don't really dislike anything. There are a couple decisions that were made during the film and I thought you could have done something else, would have been a lot easier and would have made the situation a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, I see.
But having said that, overall I enjoyed the film and I would recommend watching the film as well. Okay. Just for the fact of seeing something very unique filmed in that way. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 for Aaron. In terms of my score, in terms of like action films and just films in general, I remember hearing this quote from a guy called Mark Bernardin, and he says an action film for him, he wants one of two things: either to do something he's never seen before, or see something that has already been done in a way that he's never been seen before. So forwarding from that point, there were some things that is familiar in terms of it's a war film, but it was done in a way that I've never seen before. The direction was marvelous. Obviously you heard of my likes and dislikes already. So that being said, and this score is probably more based on the cinematography as opposed to the movie itself, because for me, I probably wouldn't rush to see it again. So on that note, I will give 1917 what?
Oh, what? No, because you started with 9.
No, wait. I give 1917 a 7.5. But that has been our review. What did you think of it? Do you think it's worthy of the wide acclaim and Oscar hype that's going around? Based on our review, will you be going to see it yourself? Let us know in the comments below. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like, share and subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest content. If you're returning, welcome back. I've been your boy Miles.
I've been Aaron.
We've been the Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N, and until the next review, which will be coming extremely soon, peace.